This woman should be in jail. Literally, Hillary Clinton should be behind bars. And so should the people who worked for her who did this. This is so blatantly corrupt. She wanted to distract from her email scandal. She cooked up a plan to accuse Trump of being a Russian agent in order to distract from her own.
Hillary Clinton spent decades building an aura of inevitability. Megyn Kelly shatters it, turning forced smiles, canned laughs, and entitled speeches into comedy. The Clinton brand becomes less a symbol of power than a monument to failure.
Stole his first term as president. These absolute liars who run around trying to act like they're the protectors of democracy completely ruined it, tried to undermine it at every turn and at the highest levels with lies, with out and out lies that were really serious and changed foreign policy and changed the course of history in this country in Trump's presidency. And there must.
Megyn starts with Hillary's biggest flaw, wanting to be relatable but never pulling it off. Every authentic moment felt staged. Hillary's greatest liability wasn't her opponents, it was her inability to seem real.
Legitimate scandal. She made up a scandal about Trump being a Russian asset. And they banked on the intel agencies working with her to perpetuate this lie, and it appears they were only too happy to assist. That's what this scandal's about. Pieces of it we knew. New pieces are coming in by the day thanks to these declassifications. And it's down.
Then comes 2016. Hillary had the media, Hollywood, billionaires, and still lost to Trump. Megyn frames it as the biggest political choke in US history. The one race she couldn't lose, she lost spectacularly.
Hillary Clinton has a very weird and I think shitty marriage. I don't think she has a husband who is in love with her or faithful to her. And I think I can't really blame him because she seems to have accepted this behavior since the inception of their marriage. And so past his prologue, you're going to get what you tolerate. You know, what you permit, you promote. She spent all of her daughter's upbringing away, at work, at the law firm.
Hillary ran like it was a coronation, not an election. Megyn mocks her "it's my turn" arrogance, pointing out voters don't like being told what's inevitable, they like being persuaded. Hillary never persuaded anyone.
Very different ballgame today than it was even 4 years ago, never mind 8 or 10 years ago when she was doing all this. And back to Hillary, you know, the whole, she has a hat she's tweeted herself out wearing, but her emails. She's tried to turn it into this ridiculous joke, like, oh, but the moon landing, like you nutcases who are still railing about this made-up scandal.
From Whitewater to Benghazi to emails, Hillary's career is scandal survival, not leadership. Megyn notes she'll be remembered less for breaking ceilings than for dodging the shards of endless controversies.
Hillary Clinton decided to drop an op-ed in the New York Times today that's entitled, "How much dumber will this get?" And she uses Signalgate and the messaging by Pete Hegseth and Mike Walls and JD Vance and Tulsi and others on there as the jumping off point to talk about how
Hillary never takes blame, always Russia, the FBI, sexism, or voters. Megyn skewers her resentment disguised as analysis, reminding everyone her rise came from Bill's coattails, not her own trailblazing.
And Chelsea Clinton is not a nice person. And I think really is just sort of getting along based on the family name at this point. And so now she's got a daughter who I guess married a rich guy, but is struggling in her own right. Hillary's in a loveless marriage. She probably doesn't have a lot of real friends, just people who are glamours. And so she absolutely does have to write a fifth memoir and go on MSNBC and be told that she's amazing. And
Megyn highlights the hypocrisy. Hillary championed women but defended Bill through decades of allegations. Her feminism was convenient. Add in her robotic stage presence and awkward jokes, Hillary looked less like a leader, more like Siri glitching on live TV.
She did need to distract from that email scandal. which was around her neck like an albatross. Trust me, we were covering it every night on the Kelly File at Fox News. She had clearly violated the law with that homebrew server that had been accessed by foreign agents. She compromised national intelligence information. She did things she would never have allowed anybody at the State Department.
Hillary's victimhood act gets roasted too. Every setback became someone else's fault. Megyn compares her to a boxer blaming the lights after a knockout. Post-2016, Hillary hasn't moved on, still replaying her loss like a washed-up athlete stuck on old highlights.
Hillary Clinton decided to drop an op-ed in the New York Times today that's entitled, "How much dumber will this get?" And she uses Signalgate and the messaging by Pete Hegseth and Mike Wallace and JD Vance and Tulsi and others on there as the jumping off point to talk about how dumb the Trump administration is.
Rebranding didn't help. Every new Hillary flopped like a bad movie reboot. Megyn exposes the truth. The problem wasn't the packaging, it was the product. Hillary became a punchline to her own ambition.
Clinton just weighed in publicly again on why she lost. And just in case you were thinking it was because she didn't go to Wisconsin, you are wrong. It is you, women of America. It is your fault. She now sits down for an interview and decides that the reason she didn't win is American females. That they didn't like that she wasn't perfect.
Hillary's feminism was always selective. Loud for cameras, silent when inconvenient. Megyn mocks her awkward chuckles and stiff relatable moments as proof she spent decades trying to look human and still failed.
Dare she? She puts out this tweet, and it's a picture of her, a much younger Hillary, and the caption on the hat reads, "But her emails." And she writes in her tweet, "Bringing this back in light of recent news. Get a limited edition But Her Emails hat and support Onward Together groups working to strengthen our democracy." The nerve of this woman to have committed federal crimes and to have gotten off because James Comey didn't have the spine to bring it. And now seeing her political opponent get a different result and trying to take some sort of "I told you, but my emails, that was never a thing" lap is galling.
Megyn nails the irony. Hillary's desperation for the presidency destroyed her chances. She had every credential but zero charisma. Her 2016 campaign, a blockbuster flop, hyped everywhere, but audiences walked out.
And that leaves me back to Schellenberger here. This is page 4 of his report. He writes as follows: "The Russian reports," again, that the Dutch spied on, that we got our hands on, "also claimed," and listen to this, I mean, you probably already know this stuff, Glenn, but claimed that Attorney General Loretta Lynch, okay, this is back in 2016, people, remember, Obama's president, Loretta Lynch is his Attorney General, and her DOJ/FBI are investigating the Hillary Clinton email scandal. And also now we learn simultaneously working with the Hillary Clinton campaign to bury that scandal in favor of.
Finally, Megyn skewers Hillary's endless blame games and clinging to relevance. She's the washed-up rock star still hearing cheers in an empty stadium. In the end, Hillary's strengths, experience, ambition, trailblazer branding became her undoing.